Hello, it's Angela, and today I have a Christmas design to share with you. This one I've designed to be used as place cards, so you can pop them on your table at Christmas with the names of your guests, or you could make it larger and make it into Christmas cards. The choice is yours. Right, so first up I'm going to be using the first edition white Christmas paper pad. I'm using the 8x8 because that's the one I've got handy, but the designs are really pretty in there. We've got gold, we've got like a silvery grey tones, and also some nice foiled effects too. So I'm going to be using that one, and also I'm going to be using the digital cutting dies, which are from first edition by Trimcraft, and those actually I've cut on my scan and cut, but you can cut them on your Cricut, on your, I think there's an Eclipse, Silhouette, or any machine that handles sort of SVG files. These are quite simple files, so you shouldn't have any problems importing and cutting them. Right, so I've chosen the size I want. I can't, off the top of my head, think what size that is. I've not got my ruler handy. Let's see. This one is the Stag, which I've cut out of the glittery paper. And what I did is, in the scan and cut, I simply went to the offset button and just added a 2mm offset of the design, so it created a little mat. I'm not sure if you can see it on my dark surface. Let me just get a bit of white paper. Right, so you can see I've got a mat, and it's just 2mm bigger, and depending on what machine you're using, your software might call it something else, but on the scan kit it's called an offset. It just creates an extra mat so that I can stick that onto there. Now this design was in the modern Christmas, and what I've also done is I've done the same and created a bow, and this one was from the decorative Christmas, but I think there is bows on some of the others as well, so it's just a bow, and I've sized it so that when it's stuck on there, just a nice size bow. And this is again using the papers from the first edition white Christmas paper pad. So I've stuck that onto there with glue, and I'm just going to show you what this one looks like stuck on. Right, okay, so here's one I made earlier. Right, so okay, so this is the Stag. Now there's the bow. Now I like the silhouette of the Stag, but I thought we'll jazz him up a little bit. So I'm going to add one of these glitter buttons, which are simply creative, and I'm going to add a button to his nose. I think that looked quite sweet. I think there. Quite sweet, wasn't it? Right, so I'm going to use, I'm just going to use a glue dot for that. Let me just see which way. I don't think there's a right or wrong way on those buttons. So I'm just going to add a little glue dot there. Great things, these glue dots. I end up sticking them to myself. Right, okay. So I'm just going to pop that about there. So we have a little nose. And the bow here, might jazz that up a bit as well. Let me see. What can we add to that one? Ooh, more simply creative goodies here. These are metallic pom-poms. Right, okay, I think we'll have one of those. Let's see. We have a silver one. Maybe silver? Silver or gold? I can't decide. They're so tinsely, so shiny. Right, I think we'll have a silver one. Let's have the silver. Okay, so I'm going to pop that one on also with a glue dot. I'll just, my glue dots are a bit big, so I'm just going to cut one down a little bit, just so I can add it to the back of here. Right, okay, so I'm going to add this to the centre of my bow, like so. Right, that's quite pretty. Okay, so I've got my Stag done, I've got the bow. Now I need to make something to put it on. So let's see, I've got some card here. This card I've cut, it's off an A4 sheet, and it's, I think it's about 230 GSM maybe. 225, 230, and it's like a dark plum or reddy brown colour, and it's 28 centimetres long, and I think it's 7 centimetres wide. And what I'm going to do with that, if we can see on here, I'm going to pop it on my scoreboard, and I'm going to going to score it first at 7, and then at, well, we've got 28, so half of that will be 14. So I've scored at 7 and 14, and I've done it like that so we can have a little, like an easel card, but it's like a long sort of easel. Right, okay. So I've cut some more paper from the first edition White Christmas paper pad, and for this one I've used one with the stag on. Now I've cut that so it will create a matte layer, and that is approximately, let me think, what is that? Oh, 6.5 centimetres to go on a 7 matte. No, that's not the right one, that's the right one. 6.5 centimetres to go on these 7 matte by 6.5 for the small square. So it's a 7 by 7 square, but the mat is 6.5 by 6.5. And this one here is just trimmed down for the remainder. Now that would be 14, so it's 13.5 by 6.5. So we're going to have our mats like so. Right, so here's what I made earlier. Okay, so now I'm going to think about decorating with my deer. Oh dear, she says. Right, I'm going to put the deer on here. The deer on here. I'm just going to work out how my bow is going to look. Yeah, I think I'm going to put him a little bit higher up. I think I'll put him about there. Right, so I'm going to add some tape to the back. When I find my tape. And with my glue stick. I might just use my glue stick because I can find that. Okay, add some glue to this part here. Use whichever adhesive you're happy with. I'm just using the glue stick because that's the one I can find at the moment. Right, okay. So I'm popping deer on there, just making sure it's stuck down. And I'm also going to pop on the bow. I think I might use another glue dot for that. Because I've got them handy. When I make them for the table, I'm probably going to use some clear drying glue. Right, okay. And I'm going to get that on there. Right, I'm going to pop it at a jaunty angle. Like so. Right, so we've got our little deer. Now we're going to need something here to create the stopper, and for this I'm going to be using some of the Simply Creative wooden letter tags. I'm using these because they're lightweight, they've got a little bit of a depth to them, so they will create a stopper, but also because they're easy to spell out simple words. Now if you've got a lot to write, I mean, just add a tag and put a name on, use adhesive alphabet letters, but I'm going to be just using simple words, mum, dad, Josh, Ellie, that kind of thing. So I've got my letters out, and I've got, shall we do dad? Let's do dad, or shall we do mum? We'll do mum first. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some twine, and I'm going to be using the Christmas twine, which is Simply Creative. I'm going to use the red one, and I'm going to thread it first through the mum. I'm going from the front, well I am when I can get that through there, from the front to the back, so that's mum. Again from the front to the back, it doesn't really matter, it's just to add a little bit of trim to it. And again from the front to the back. Now at this end I'm just going to add a little, tie a little knot, and I'm going to think about there, and then I'm going to trim it, and then tie a little knot at this end. Just something simple, it doesn't have to be elaborate. Right, so we've got our little words, and I'm just going to trim that a little bit shorter on the end. Okay, now to attach this to our design, I'm going to put foam pads on the back. Going to put, just to raise it a little bit and help create a bit more of a stopper effect. Okay, so there's our foam pads. Right, I picked easy words to spell, haven't I? Right, so I'm going to start off by taking the backing off the foam pads. And I think I'm going to start just seeing where I want that to stand on a table. I think I'll have it standing about there. So I'm going to put the centre one in first. I'm going to use my table to help line it, I think. Let's see, where are we going with this? Go about there. Right, I can see my line on my table. Right, and then I'm going to pop this one in a line there, and then this one, which has stuck itself down, in a line there. Tighten my little knots and trim off the excess at the other side. And we have our little deer. Now if we want to add some more snowballs, we can do that quite easily. Just add some more mini glue dots. One there. Have I got a silver one? Can't seem to find them now. There it is. I'll add another one. There, and we'll find another gold one, I think. Let's have another gold one, just because we can. And there we have it. We have our little table name card stand. Whoops. Well, we have if I don't drop it. And of course you could make that bigger, make it into a card. We could add googly eyes if you want. There's all sorts of possibilities with this one. There we go. Hope you like it. Thanks for looking.